have always seen myself as a loving wife and nurturing mother. My marriage had its imperfections, yet it offered a sense of stability, a familiar rhythm of days that flowed gently into serene evenings. My husband and I found ourselves in a rhythm of quiet familiarity, our bond woven through the tapestry of years spent nurturing our children and navigating the ebb and flow of life together. Yet, somewhere along the way, the flame that once fueled our connection had softened into a tender, unvoiced separation. I reassured myself that this was merely a facet of our journey, a tender transformation as we navigated the passage of time side by side. Our son Ethan had just turned 21, a milestone that felt like the gentle opening of a new chapter in his life. With his newfound independence, a vibrant tapestry of friends and joyous celebrations unfolded around him. Most weekends our home was alive with the sound of joyful laughter and the gentle clinking of bottles, as Ethan's friends infused every corner with their vibrant energy. In the midst of that vibrant energy, I discovered a deep sense of peace, knowing my son was joyful and embraced by those who cherished him. In Ethan's circle there was a young man named Ryan, who appeared to exist in a world of his own, subtly distinct from the others. He possessed an elusive charm, a subtle allure that stirred something deep within me, leaving me captivated and intrigued. Ryan stood tall, his sandy blonde hair catching the light, exuding a relaxed charm that warmed every space he graced. With a demeanor that was both kind and captivating, he moved through the world with a quiet confidence that drew others in. At 24, he was just a touch older than Ethan, yet his presence awakened feelings within me that I had believed were long forgotten. It all started on a languid Saturday afternoon. Ethan and his friends gathered by the pool, their laughter and shouts of joy intertwining with the warmth of the summer sun. As I stood in the kitchen, thoughtfully crafting snacks and artfully arranging platters of sandwiches, Ryan's presence graced the doorway. He entered, glistening from the pool, and with an effortless charm, shirtless and genuinely open, greeted me with a soft smile that warmed the air between us. "Mrs. Carter," he murmured, his tone gentle and warm, "do you require any assistance?" I focused on the platter, softly declining with a gentle, "No thank you, Ryan. It's time for you to return and embrace the joy that awaits you." Yet he chose to stay. Instead, he stayed by the counter, observing me with a gaze that sent a thrill through my heart. "You have a way of nurturing those around you," he whispered softly. "It's important for you to find moments of tranquility as well." Those words took me by surprise. In that fleeting instant, the very act of breathing slipped from my mind. It wasn't just the compliment. It was the way he spoke, as if he had uncovered a part of me that had long been concealed. I chuckled softly, dismissing the moment with a gentle, "That's just how moms are." As the day unfolded and the joyful sounds from the pool echoed around us, I found myself drawn to him repeatedly, captivated by the warmth of his laughter that seemed to envelop the space, and the effortless way he sought moments to stay close to the kitchen. In the days that followed, the subtle tension between us deepened. Each stolen glance and fleeting smile deepened an unexpected bond that stirred emotions I never thought I would experience. I attempted to persuade myself that it was merely a harmless crush, a momentary infatuation destined to fade away. Yet, within me there was an awakening of desire for something deeper, a flicker of connection and intensity that had long been absent from my life. Then, one evening, a shift occurred that transformed everything. The house felt enveloped in a serene hush, a gentle stillness settling in as Ethan ventured out with his friends. The once comforting silence now seemed to beckon me closer. In the gentle illumination of the kitchen, Ryan and I were enveloped in a quiet intimacy, the stillness allowing our unspoken feelings to surface. "Mrs. Carter," Ryan began, his voice soft and uncertain at first, "I know this may come across as unusual, but I perceive something within you, something radiant and full of life, that appears to be concealed beneath the weight of your duties and daily patterns. Your generosity has touched the hearts of those near you. Have you ever contemplated the experience of embracing life solely for your own sake, if only for a fleeting moment?" His words lingered in the stillness of the room, awakening echoes of dreams once cherished. I recalled the woman I used to be, a woman who embraced passion, adventure, and the exhilarating allure of what could be. Throughout the years, I found myself gradually fading into the roles of wife and mother, surrendering fragments of my essence to maintain the harmony of our family. As Ryan spoke, a wave of feelings enveloped me. A complex blend of guilt, yearning, and freedom washed over me. The steady, familiar cadence of my married life had woven a cocoon around me, offering both solace and a sense of entrapment. In his sincere gaze I glimpsed the essence of who I once was and who I might still be. A woman worthy of love, joy, and the enchanting journey of rediscovery. As the night deepened and the house embraced a gentle stillness, our voices mingled softly in the kitchen. We unveiled our fears and our dreams, two souls intertwining in a realm where vulnerability blossomed in place of the ordinary. In the gentle embrace of that conversation, I discovered that life, despite its flaws, still offered glimpses of enchantment and potential. I started to realize that the opportunity to rekindle the flame that once ignited my heart was always within reach. In the days that followed, I discovered myself entwined in a fragile dance between obligation and longing. I held dear the love I felt for my family, while also welcoming the deep realization that I, too, was worthy of being seen, heard, and cherished for my true self. Ryan's presence lingered like a gentle whisper, a reminder that amidst the weight of life's duties, there exists a space for unexpected warmth and the promise of fresh starts. This journey was filled with deep, stirring emotions. With each passing day, I found myself immersed in quiet contemplation, pondering the journey I had embarked upon and the existence I had crafted. In the stillness of the night, soft tears fell, while the first light of dawn brought shy smiles, reflecting the intricate dance of love and desire. Yet amidst it all, I started to realize that each chapter of life, regardless of its familiarity, carries the potential for profound change if one dares to welcome it with an open heart. Within that modest, unassuming house where joy in daily life once flourished, a fresh narrative was emerging. A tale of rediscovery, of embracing the delicate beauty found in vulnerability, and of the bravery it takes to allow one's heart to welcome the unforeseen. And though the future was shrouded in mystery, I felt a stirring within me, a recognition of a life brimming with potential, where even the softest whispers of time could ignite a fire that glowed with the passion of countless unspoken desires. Once Ethan stepped out with his friends, the house embraced an unexpected stillness, a hush that stood in stark contrast to the vibrant laughter and chatter that typically filled our space. Ryan, however, lingered, expressing that he wasn't quite up to par. Drawn by a deep sense of empathy and an undeniable connection, I suggested making him some tea and invited him to join me in the living room. As the gentle sound of the teapot met the soothing murmur of the refrigerator, our conversation unfolded in the warmth of the moment. In that intimate, quiet moment, I realized how natural it felt to share my thoughts with him. Ryan listened with a depth that stirred something within me, his gaze locked onto mine, steady and infused with a warmth that pierced through the monotony of my daily existence. I shared my frustrations, the shadows of fear that lingered, and a profound loneliness I had never truly acknowledged, even within my own heart. With every word, a forgotten part of me awakened, a deep yearning for connection and understanding that had been silent for far too long. As I completed my task, Ryan's fingers brushed against mine, a soft and tender connection that lingered in the air. His voice, soft and intimate, pierced the stillness. "You're remarkable, Mrs. Carter. You are worthy of experiencing the fullness of life." His words, filled with warmth and genuine care, stirred a delightful tremor within me, a blend of anticipation and uncertainty that awakened a profound feeling deep within. Before I could speak, he moved closer and our lips met in a tender greeting. That first kiss was gentle and uncertain, yet it soon blossomed into something more intense, leaving me gasping, as if every logical thought faded away, consumed by the profound feeling of being genuinely noticed and wanted. In that moment, a wave of longing washed over me, igniting a deep, intense warmth that made me feel cherished and vibrantly awake. Yet, just as the depth of our bond started to flourish, the front door creaked open, and Ethan's well-known voice resonated through the air. A wave of anxiety washed over me as Ryan took a swift step back, his face a mask of mystery, and in that moment the enchantment shattered. The remainder of that evening enveloped me in a soft fog, making it difficult to hold my son's gaze. Conflicting emotions danced within me, tugging at my heartstrings. In the days that followed, Ryan and I chose not to speak of what had transpired, yet the memory of that fleeting kiss remained, a tantalizing secret we both held close, unspoken and profound. I felt an undeniable tension within me, a whisper of awareness that what had unfolded was not right, that I was jeopardizing all I had worked for. Yet a delicate, persistent curiosity lingered, urging me to explore the possibilities that lay within that tender flicker of desire. That night, as I lay in bed next to my husband Steve, the soft sound of his snoring created a gentle rhythm against the tempest swirling within me, leaving me restless and awake. The memory of the kiss danced in my thoughts, the warmth of Ryan's lips lingering like a soft whisper, the tender yet firm touch of his hand on mine, and the depth of his gaze that hinted at a revival of dreams long tucked away. It had been an eternity since I had experienced such deep longing. I found myself caught between a haunting fear of the repercussions and an intense longing for that blossoming closeness. The next day, I summoned all my strength to steer clear of Ryan. As Ethan immersed himself in a group project, I held on to the belief that he would be absent, using that thought as a comforting anchor. Yet, as if destiny sought to challenge my strength, the doorbell chimed softly in the late afternoon light. A flutter of anticipation coursed through me as I opened the door to discover Ryan waiting there, a small box of tools cradled in his hands. Ethan mentioned you needed help fixing the cabinet in the laundry room. His tone light, yet his eyes revealed a hint of something more profound, an undercurrent of nervousness or an unvoiced desire that seemed to connect us in that moment. For a brief moment I paused, then gracefully stepped aside, inviting him in. "It's in the back," I murmured softly as I guided him down the slender hallway. The atmosphere surrounding us was thick with unexpressed feelings, every movement resonating with the chaos within my soul. In the stillness of the laundry room, as Ryan focused on the stubborn cabinet, his usual charm gave way to a deep, resonant seriousness that filled the air. I observed him from the threshold, my thoughts a tempest of contrasting feelings, a sense of guilt for straying from the comforting, predictable rhythm of my life with Steve, and an intense longing for the fervor and acknowledgement that Ryan had ignited within me. Each subtle creak of the aged cabinet resonated with the soft thrum of my heart, burdened by unspoken truths and the promise of change. That day signified the start of a profound and stirring inner exploration. In the weeks that followed, every meeting with Ryan transformed into a quiet exchange of lingering looks and unvoiced sentiments. I found myself swaying between the familiar embrace of my everyday existence and the alluring possibility of rediscovering aspects of myself that had been hidden away, overshadowed by the responsibilities of being a wife and mother. I found myself in a whirlwind of thoughts, pondering whether it was an act of betrayal or a sweet release. Could I dare to leave behind the life I once knew for the chance to experience a profound sense of aliveness once more? Each night as I lay in bed listening to Steve's gentle, oblivious snores, I found myself lingering on the tender memory of Ryan's kiss. It felt like a gentle opening within me, allowing a refreshing current of longing and reflection to flow through. Fear gripped me as I contemplated the aftermath, yet an undeniable longing surged within, a yearning for that intoxicating essence of forbidden desire that breathed life into dreams I believed were gone for good. In that small, tranquil house where familiarity had once held sway, a tender, thrilling dance had started to unfold. With each exchanged glance and every gentle caress, I discovered myself balancing on the brink of a journey that offered both the pain of loss and a captivating sense of rebirth. As I grappled with the weight of my guilt, a delicate part of me remained steadfast, clinging to the possibility that I might rediscover the joy of living, embracing the intense feelings that had long been hidden within. I lingered at the threshold, caught in a moment of contemplation, uncertain whether to step forward or retreat. My heart raced with such intensity that I felt certain he could sense every longing thrum. The stillness enveloping us was heavy with longing and reflection, each moment lingering like a breath held too long. As Ryan completed his task, he turned to me, his gaze holding a depth that was difficult to decipher. "Mrs. Carter, regarding the other evening," he started, his voice tinged with uncertainty. I interjected, my voice quivering with a blend of apprehension and desire. It was a misstep, a fleeting lapse I managed to articulate, yet each word seemed to betray the deeper truth that pulsed within me. Before I could find my balance, Ryan moved in closer. I instinctively retreated until my back met the wall, enclosing me in a space where his presence enveloped me completely. He was so close now, and his fresh masculine aroma enveloped me, drawing me in even as I tried to resist. "Was it truly a mistake?" he inquired gently, his voice a tender murmur. "Because you linger in my thoughts, and I can't help but remember the warmth of our kiss." In that moment I struggled against the impulse to reject it, to distance myself, Yet the reality was inescapable. He lingered in my thoughts, a constant presence I couldn't shake off. My resolve melted away as his hand reached out, gently caressing my cheek. "You are meant for something greater than this existence," he whispered, his voice rich with heartfelt emotion. "You are worthy of experiencing the essence of life, to sense the warmth of desire surrounding you." In that moment, the barriers I had carefully constructed around my heart fell away, leaving me exposed and vulnerable. He drew nearer, and my lips met his in a fervent, yearning kiss. This time there was an undeniable certainty, a freedom from guilt or doubt, as an intense, unbridled connection enveloped us completely. His touch stirred a deep, comforting warmth that reminded me of a time when I felt fully alive. We moved to a quieter space, where the contrast between everyday routine and our deepening connection became unmistakable. His touch and kisses enveloped me, drawing me into a realm where the outside world faded away, allowing me to momentarily forget my marriage, my family, and the weight of our decisions. As the intensity of our connection began to fade, we found ourselves enveloped in a profound silence, the significance of our shared experience resting upon us like a heavy shroud. I turned away from his eyes, feeling a wave of shame wash over me, pushing aside the bliss that had just moments ago wrapped around my heart. "This can't happen again," I murmured, my voice barely rising above the soft hum of the moment, a fragile promise to myself. Yet, beneath the surface, I felt the truth linger, a bittersweet acknowledgement of the chaos that was weaving itself into the fabric of my existence, slipping through my fingers like sand. In the stillness that followed, I found myself adrift in a storm of feelings. Each caress, each prolonged gaze we shared revealed a facet of my soul I had long kept concealed. The memory of his kiss lingered in my thoughts, an echo that stirred something deep within me. The way his lips ignited long-buried yearnings, the gentle touch of his hand that rekindled a fervor I had nearly lost sight of. Fear gripped me as I contemplated the aftermath, yet an undeniable longing surged within, a desire so profound it felt almost consuming. As I lay awake that night, the gentle cadence of my husband's tranquil breathing created a striking contrast to the tempest swirling within me. Ryan occupied my mind in every serene instant, each recollection of our secret connection carving itself into the very essence of my being. I pondered deeply, reflecting on the life I had embraced, the identities I was meant to embody, and the notion that maybe, just for a brief moment, I had genuinely experienced existence. Now, poised at the edge of my former existence and the enticing mystery of what lies ahead, I understood that each hidden truth, each soft caress, held the potential to break apart the delicate dreams of comfort and assurance. And even as I sought to reassure myself that it was merely a fleeting moment, a misstep born from vulnerability, the reality was that I had savored a liberation so captivating it risked transforming me eternally. Thanks for listening. Have a great time. Subscribe to our channel to get the latest news about the stories.